welcome to the Effortless Swimming podcast. My guest today is Kris Martenstyn, based in Singapore. I got in touch with Kriss recently because he said he'd had some good results from a 5-day challenge that we had recently run. And I just wanted to get you on the podcast just to talk about what sort of improvements you've seen and what you feel like you may have changed about your stroke to get those results. So Kriss, welcome to the podcast.
Thanks for having me.
So what's your background swimming wise and sports wise, and what is it that you're training for at the moment?
Okay, in terms of swimming, I picked up swimming quite recently, actually. It was just like a couple of years back. I learned to swim. The whole point behind swimming was to compete in triathlon. So obviously I swim and run and do the whole bit of training around triathlon that comes with the sport. In terms of swimming, of late, I've been focusing a lot on it because my running is very limited because of injuries, and I've been using sort of swimming to sort of keep the cardiovascular base going while I recover from those injuries. In terms of where I am in my swimming, I swim with the master squad here in Singapore a few times a week. And we swim based on threshold times, the CSS time. So I always like I do a lot of my work around that CSS4, CSS5 sort of time, because I know like if I was competing in an event, I would probably swim at that pace. In terms of event,
and you mean by CSS plus 4 to 5 seconds?
Yeah, correct.
Yeah.
So in terms of events, I mean, as soon as things are open, I'd like to compete in a 70.3 and maybe an Ocean Man. Of course, that's in the future. And see where I was in terms of time. Around the beginning of April, we did a CSS test with our squad. I was around 154. So that meant I was swimming my CSS4, CSS5 in the region of 158, 159. So then I started bringing in the 5-day catch challenge into my workouts. So I used it as a warm up. I started every workout that I did on my own with one of the day's schedules, and I managed to bring my CSS4 down to my CSS. So basically,
right.
So it was very interesting the way it just came down. Because I mean, I can swim for 4 seconds faster, on CSS at any time. I mean, that pace is there. But what I'm really interested in is having that sort of comfortable pace that I can hold for like 2K, 1K, the longer sets. And it was remarkable the way it came down. Like I could see, like from the first day onwards, all right, there's something happening here that feels very good in the water. I'm swimming slightly quicker, and it's not hurting me as much. The effort wasn't increasing.
That's so good to hear. And talking before the call, you said you can't pinpoint exactly like maybe how your stroke has improved, but the times have improved. Does your stroke or does your swimming feel any different compared to before?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, in day one of the catch challenge, where you spoke about entry and getting that sort of a snap in the water, the moment I felt that, it was sort of groundbreaking. Everything sort of, the rhythm improved. It was feeling good. I could feel myself going faster without putting in like a hard effort. Like I wasn't as out of breath as I would normally be. So I'd say that. And then I think on day 5, you spoke about rhythm, which was also a revelation, because I never realized like I was pulling right from the point of the catch. I was going in and slapping down, 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 and then, bringing, pushing the water behind. So then I figured, okay, like let's wait a bit. All right, now pull. And that really changed a lot in the stroke. It became fun. I really enjoyed that bit of it.
That's it's good to hear. And like all these little things that we cover in those 5 days, these are things that I've picked up along the last 12, 13 years that I've been coaching. And it took me sort of that long to learn all of them. And I'm glad that when you kind of get them condensed and keep it really simple, we really focus on one or two things each day. I'm glad to hear that it's had that effect for you. And with that entry, I found I sort of picked that up from a coach, Sheila Tiamina, who's she's got a great book, Swim Speed Secrets. Highly recommend it. So one of the things that I got from her was with the entry. You think that you should spear the water and everything should follow your fingertips in, but it's not the case. It's actually that as long as you get your fingers in first, you've got your elbow up, you can actually then just straighten your arm. You'll actually hear good swimmers, their elbow will kind of slap down. And so, we go through some drills to help make sure that you do that and you're not overreaching on entry. But when you get it right, you can really feel this nice drive with each entry and with each reach forwards. And it sounds as though that's what maybe started to happen in your stroke.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you get this real feeling of the picture of Superman. You get Superman flying over, and he's got one hand back like that. You really feel that in the water. Like going forward, right? The hand comes in, and also the hand that's recovering doesn't seem to take any energy anymore. Like you're not hoisting this hand up. It's just swinging over, yeah, in a very crisp way. And that really changed the swimming. Even my coach was saying, there's something really nice going. You're entering in the right place. Entering near your front wrist, and the whole recovery is right. You're swimming straighter, because previously, I was swimming straight, but there was a slight bit of a zigzag. But the moment the rhythm comes, both sides become even. Because usually, if you're a right-hander, you'd slightly move to the right, even though you're bilateral breathing. But once you get that rhythm, it's straight. There's no question about it.
And
Yeah,
the other thing you mentioned was the timing or the rhythm at the end, where it sounds like you slowed down that reach and that catch phase to help with the timing. And one thing I see a lot is that when people, if they're quite new to swimming, they feel like they just need to get straight into that propulsive part of the stroke, so they pull back straight away. But if you do it too soon, it throws out the rhythm of the timing of the catch and how it connects with the hips. And we say it's really, really common. And I think sometimes too, there's so much nuance to all the little things in swimming that it's easy to hear something like a phrase or a way that someone might explain a part of the stroke and just take it at face value. But there's a lot of nuance and detail to it. And one of those things that I've heard often said by more triathlon coaches than anything, but it's just like, get the hand in, get a big, armful of water and pull it straight back as hard and as fast as you can. But it's that can work for some people, but in most cases, it's like, no, you've got to actually spend that little bit of time to reach forwards and give yourself a bit more time to set up the catch, because otherwise just the timing gets thrown out and you're going to be working a lot harder than what you otherwise would. And so I'm glad that you got that connection, because when you do get it, as you probably know, it's just like, it feels good. Everything comes together and you're really using your whole body to swim as opposed to just your arms or just your legs.
Yeah, of course. And see, the other thing that I really liked was in the drills. I mean, I had done a version of these drills at some point, at some place. I'd done all of them before, but you swim a lot. You stop thinking about what's going on in this drill. Like, I'm doing 616. All right, we're doing 616 to get the roll right, and so on. But then when you start thinking, okay, 616, you can also use it to practice your entry, for instance, and you get it brings a lot more awareness behind that drill, and you get more out of it, because I really felt like my technique. I was doing technique stuff, but at the same time, I wasn't engaged in it. I was like, doing, okay, we do the sculling, we do everything. All right, these are going to help, but I wasn't thinking how. So it was good to come back to basics, come back to thinking about what's behind the drill, and I felt that really helped a lot. Actually, yesterday when I was swimming, I was like thinking, okay, there are certain things that now feel sort of out, and I need to come back into these 5 days. So I'll probably run these 5 days again, because I feel it's not a matter of finishing bang 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then all right, that's sorted out. It's a matter of revisiting, and I feel if I do it again, I'll be able to knock out another couple of seconds. Because the moment I feel uncomfortable in the water, I know, okay, the stroke's not working. You gotta work on technique. It's not a question of the time. I mean, time will always come. You swim hard, you can knock down 3 seconds, but that's not the point behind sort of a sustainable routine, so to say.
Yeah, that's great, because it's that awareness of it as well, that you don't go through the 5 days, you're one and done, and your catch is just magically transformed forever. You've got to either revisit some of those drills or some of those points that you're focusing on to reinforce those habits. And I'm just about to create another, just like a final module for that 5 day thing, about how to take what you went through and then implement it, so that stuff becomes a lot more permanent, because it takes about 6 weeks to change a habit. And and it's just it is easy to go back to what you were doing if when you're not focused on it, or if you're just thinking of other things as well. So it's and that the fact that that is the first step, is realizing that it's this slow trajectory that you're going to keep improving, but sometimes you'll go back down. But yes, if you keep following, it's that mountain that you're climbing, and you can really maintain that continuous improvement, but it's not always just in the same trajectory.
Of course not. No. It's not about the time and like improvement. It's a question of how you define the improvement. I mean, I could define the improvement as, okay, CSS reducing by a second every few weeks, every few months, or so on. But it boils down to, am I enjoying the swim? Is this something that I can go on doing on and on, or is it like just hell? If it's hell, it's difficult to come back and repeat that session. But if it feels good, you keep coming back for more, and the training becomes a lot more pleasant in terms of adding it into an overall triathlon routine, because it's not just the swimming. If you're stressed in the swimming, the bike's going to be very difficult. The run's going to be hell on earth. So I'd say it's good when because swimming is the nicest on the body. You recover from it a lot better. But if you're doing swim sets that are so hard that you need to spend a day to recover from the swim, everything else like falls down. So it's really good to have that nice technique, have that relaxation in the water. And it's a very fulfilling feeling.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I did another podcast recently with someone who went through the challenge, and he was saying that like, aside from the improvement that he had in his times, the thing that he enjoyed the best about it was the feeling that he's got when he's in the water, when he's swimming. Like he said, I get to the pool, doesn't matter how I'm feeling. Whenever I get out, I feel so much better. And it's like, that's what it's about. It's just when you do have a good session and your stroke feels good, and and you have this nice sort of flow of the water over your body, and like it's such a great feeling. For me, there's really something about being in the water, whether it's in the pool, whether it's in the ocean. It's like there's something about that water element that really is very relaxing, and it feels great. So there's very few swims that I've had, very few training sessions where I've got out and regretted it. So it's it's such a great feeling, and especially not necessarily coming from a swimming background by the sounds of it, like to be able to get to that point where you can really enjoy your swimming the way that it sounds like you are. It's to me, it's no small feat. It's a big achievement to be able to get to that point, because it means you put in the hours and the time and that consistency to learn something that is quite a complex movement and skill. And if you can, if you're where you're at, then it's a great place to be.
Yeah. I mean, so the way I treat swimming is like, when I'm tense, I get in the water. When I'm feeling stressed with work, all right, we'll get in the water. It's not always about knocking out that training session and doing okay, right, 300s, and all right, we got our day's training. It's more about all right, let's take a break from the day. Get into the water, get recharged, and get out. I had the luxury of a pool very nearby, where I can look at it outside of my window, and it's there. So I have that luxury. So I swim whenever possible. It's like even a few times a day. It's not like I'm killing myself in the water. It's recovery almost.
Yeah, that especially recovery for the legs after possibly a big weekend on the bike or running from what a lot of triathletes tend to do. And it's like you're right. I mean, I had a big day on Sunday. I had 3 clinics. It was about 12 hours of coaching, 3 hours of travel time with driving, and come Monday morning, I'd probably got about 4 or 5 hours of sleep, and I woke up at 4:30. I was thinking, do I get up and go to training because I know I'm going to train like crap, and I'm so tired and exhausted. But I was like, okay, as long as you go, you're going to feel so much better afterwards. And I went, and I'm glad I did, despite my times being about 5 seconds slower per 100. So I knew that was going to happen, but the rest of the day went really well, and it set me up right. So that's why, as best as I can, I'll try and just stick to that routine that I've set. No matter what has happened the day before or the night before, because it's always going to be the right thing to do. Because I always regret it when I don't get up and swim.
Yeah, of course, and I feel like the fitness gains from the swim that translates so well onto the run, especially
Mm.
like that ability of being able to push through on sort of in a relaxed state, like without your heart rate going to the roof. Once you get that ability in the water, I feel transferring that ability onto the run is so much easier, especially if you're on the heavier side, like I am. My heart rate, it shoots up on the run. But I find like building that swim fitness and keeping that as sort of base fitness, it transfers so well onto the run. I can hold my heart rate a lot better, and I'm sure it transfers onto the bike as well. But you feel it a lot more on the run.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I mean, um, one the 1 year that I did triathlon, I was doing a lot of running as well. It's like I felt like my swim fitness from the previous years had it carries over very well to that running, because it forces you to have to control your breathing, because it's you've got to you can't take as much air in as you like. You've got to be very measured and controlled with it. So I think that helps in a big way. And for you going forwards in the next couple of weeks and couple of months, where do you feel like after going through the 5-day challenge, where do you feel like you can go in the next couple of months in terms of your speed and your swimming? Do you feel like you can get under that 150 and that there's room to get under that, and that's a possibility for you?
Oh, for sure, for sure. I mean, if I can sort of really bed in these as good habits, a second and a half every month, totally doable. Because right now I know my threshold pace, and the threshold pace keeps coming down. But in terms of that comfortable pace, definitely I should be able to bring it down into the 140s. Let's keep that as a wide goal. Yeah, uh, I think it's doable, definitely. Bit by bit, month by month, it's possible.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's the right frame of mind to approach it into. Like, it just seeing it happen so many times that it's absolutely possible. And seeing those 4 or 5 seconds within the 5 days, it's not sustainable yet, but it's going to be, and then it's just going to keep coming down with the focus on the right things. And I'm looking forward to seeing what happens in the next couple of months, because hearing about where you're at and what you've gone down to now, it is well on that trajectory. So good luck for the next couple of months, and I appreciate you sharing this on the podcast.
Thanks. It was awesome. Like there was one experience. I mean, uh, to share one really nice thing that happened is, there's one squad that I swim with. I cannot keep up for my life with the swimmers in that squad. I mean, when they go, they lap me, and somehow I managed to just get into their draft last week during the last swim before lockdown. I think, okay, if I'm in that draft, I'm roughly about 5% behind them. Um, and that was like really fulfilling. That was very satisfying. I was like, okay, achievement unlocked. And
Yeah,
yeah,
that's right. Got a
so
taste of it now.
yeah,
How
yeah,
good's
yeah,
that?
so nice.
Fantastic. It's I love it when I hear stories of people who, like, they move up a lane, or they get on the group that they just they were just too far, just that little bit behind. It's just like, that's exciting. And the thing about that is like the swimmers in that lane, like it's like you're sneaking up on them. They don't know, you're working your way up there and they're doing their own thing. And soon enough, you'll be right with them, and then hopefully overtake them, and they won't know what hit them. So that's the goal.
Yeah, of course. It doesn't matter who the swimmer is, it's whoever is there.
So, yeah, whoever's in the next lane. Yeah, I know that feeling.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, thank you, Kriss. I appreciate it.
Thanks.
And yes, all the best.
Thanks, man. It's been great talking. Thanks for all the help with the program. I'll definitely do more of these.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you.